Event, anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to the Splash Live.
Good morning and welcome to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield and Oakland County's live daily news and talk show. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dave Scott. Each and every day you can join us on cable television in the local area on Comcast Channel 15 as well as on AT&T Channel 99. In addition, you can always find us online on our website in high definition on civiccentertv.com, as well as on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, as well as on YouTube at Civic Center TV. In addition, listen to us on the radio on your way into work or while you're at the office this morning on 89.3 Lakes FM. Plenty to get to on today's edition of the show. Let's get a look at our latest news with Dave Scott. Dave.
Tyler, thank you very much. And good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Smoke detectors are credited for saving the lives of West Bloomfield residents in an early morning Sunday fire here in the area. We've got the story, and we've got pictures of the heroic rescues. Drivers are finding alternative routes around the Orchard Lake Road construction project in Kego and Sylvan. And that's really been working out very well. Meanwhile, Kego and Sylvan restaurants are still open during that construction, and they would love it if you stop by, especially right now. West Bloomfield High School alum are moving on to some of our top universities here in Michigan and carrying on the tradition of the music program that I'm pretty proud of as a member of that music program when I was at high school in West Bloomfield, a million years ago. Meanwhile, Bloomfield Hills Schools are going to hold a interview session for prospective candidates for the superintendent position that is open after the departure of Pat Watson. Kego Harbor Block Party is scheduled for July 21st. We've got that information for you. Big event yesterday at M1 Concourse in Pontiac, right in our neighborhood. It was Cars and Stars. We were there, had an opportunity to see that, and we'll bring that up to date for you later on in the program. Construction continues over in the West Bloomfield Police Department. Got some pictures for you. And the Marshbank Music Concerts continue. We're going to talk to one of the performers of that series right here on the program. That's the stories we have for you today. Tyler now has a look at the weather.
Yeah, looking at the weather, it's a nice start to the work week, Monday through Wednesday. Not a whole lot going on in terms of any wet weather today. 80 degrees is the high, 56 the low. Currently on your drive into work this morning, 66 degrees. Tuesday, 79 will be the high, 56 the low. A lot cooler at night, so you can open those windows up and have a nice evening slumber. Wednesday, 83 is your high, 60 is the low. That's a look at the weather going on in the early parts of this week. A nice week with a little bit of rain later on. Well, something that also is keeping us on the sunny side is introducing new members of our team into the fold each and every day, as we have a big team that goes into producing the Splash Live and making this happen 5 days a week for an hour a day for you at home. Joining us now is the newest member of our team, Diane Shaban, who joins us as our social media director and also now going to be on the air with us as well and helping us on the production side. Diane, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad to have us have you with us joining our team. So for those that aren't familiar with you, they haven't been around, they haven't seen you with our team so far, tell us a little bit about yourself and what brings you to us here in West Bloomfield.
So what brings me here is, well, I've been a resident of West Bloomfield or Oakland County in general. 3 years ago, I grew up somewhere else. I grew up in Lebanon in Saudi Arabia, and I've been here and I got to meet Dave and we got to working on this project, which I'm very grateful for him for giving me the chance to work with this awesome team and in this awesome community.
Well, Diane, we're so happy to have you with us. And, introducing you now to our audience is our great pleasure, but you've been working hard behind the scenes. For those of you watching, Diane has been doing a great job for us for the past several months as our social media director. And it isn't easy taking this whole show, packaging it up every day, and putting it into the bits and pieces that our viewers like to consume online and in social media. And Diane, been doing a great job. Where do you put this content, and how is that project going?
So we basically utilized all the social media tools available, from Facebook to Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So we're trying to facilitate all these. We're trying to put all these amazing content for people to watch wherever they want to watch it and whenever they want to watch it.
Well, you're on the front side of your career. I could tell you as a lifelong broadcaster, it started in radio and then recognized that with the internet, no matter what media we really committed to at the beginning of our careers, people that have been doing it for a long time, like I have, and started in a specific media, that is no longer. I mean, if you wrote for the Free Press 25 years ago, you better know how to shoot a video story now. And if you're a radio broadcaster, you can't be afraid to step in front of the television. So we've gone through that evolution. And here in Detroit with great projects like Click on Detroit, Channel 4, taken to the web very early, thefreep.com, MLive and Bridge, great online newspapers transitioning to print world. But as you come into the industry, you come in here as someone who has grown up, or at least in part of your life, lived with social media. And that's what it's all about now. The stories that we are publishing on Facebook and promoting through Twitter and Instagram and all these other outlets, that's just the way it's being done. And to ignore that and not participate in that environment would be would be foolish, especially, I assume, from your perspective.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Dave. I know some people look at the internet in a negative way, but I think it just provided a great platform for people, even for radio people, for content creators to just create. It's just an incredible thing because everybody can create news right now. I know that some people create fake news, but if you look at the resources right and know where to read them, you can see awesome content online, and provides just this incredible platform for people to see what you're capable of, whether you're sitting from home or just like whatever you're doing. It's just an incredible platform if we use it right, of course.
Well, I get it. I mean, there are things that are reported through social media. You call it fake news, that are just downright irresponsible and inaccurate because we have a greater environment with a lot more people publishing, and the barrier for entrance is different than it used to be. So that's all changed. That said, believe me, there's plenty of inaccurate reporting that went on when I started my career too. So we will take the good side and leave the bad. And the other thing, Diane, I think it's great that you're going to be here is, yes, we want to post all the information that we assemble on the show, and that's what you've been doing every day. But we want to follow social media too. And Tyler, I could tell you that as we've been gathering the news for these shows over the past several months and year or two, this program started really during COVID, that social media plays a critical role in news collection for programs such as this.
It does, Dave, and it's because so much of what is happening in these public forums that have built through social media, whether it's been through Facebook or through Twitter or other means. What are people talking about, especially for these four communities that we primarily cover here in the greater West Bloomfield community? That's a way for us to look a little bit deeper into things and not have to look so much at the surface level for those stories. So we're exploring social media to see what sort of projects people are talking about. Maybe they're looking for some help on a community project that could be really impactful. We're able to then get that information out to people, talk to those individuals as well, reach out to them in a way that's easy for both us and them to communicate back and forth, and then ultimately have a longer form conversation with those individuals right here. So social media does, Dave, play an incredible role in what we do on the Splash Live.
Yeah, a very short version of that is, look, you put something on Facebook and it's a credible story going on in Oakland County or West Bloomfield, it's very likely that we're going to follow you on it. So not only are you and you creating content that people, your neighbors care about, but you're also influencing the rest of the media, and you never know, you may wake up tomorrow and your story may be the biggest story in the nation, and that's happened quite a bit. So Diane, welcome to the team. We got to scoot along here. We look forward to seeing you on camera and playing a vital role in this program. Good to have you with us, and very excited. Feeling okay in your first day?
I'm feeling great, Dave. It's great to be here with you guys.
All right, we are going to take a break. Good to have you with us. We're going to take a break. We'll get down to the news of the day. Big fire over the weekend, early Sunday morning in West Bloomfield. When we come back, Tyler's got the story on that. And apparently, smoke detectors played a critical role in this turning out to be a good story. We've got that and more. It's the Splash Live. Good morning. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Like what you see? Beautiful works of art, masterworks of metal, and accomplishments of artistry will be on display near you. All kinds of artists from all walks of life come together to celebrate their skill and appreciate their work's beauty. Hot Works presents the 2023 Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. Stop by July 29th and 30th between 2 and 10 p.m. between Powers and Daly off of Orchard Lake Road. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dave Scott. Our top story this morning comes from the West Bloomfield Fire Department over the weekend on Sunday, early in the portions of Sunday morning, just off of Orchard Lake Road on Old Dominion Drive. A house caught fire. Luckily, it didn't end up being a deadly fire. The residents were alerted to a fire in their home by hearing some popping sounds, waking up to that. And then, of course, with their smoke detectors going off, alerting them that their house was on fire. As a result, everybody, the family, both the adults and the children, were able to get safely out of the home. There were no deaths. There were no injuries involved. And in doing so, the West Bloomfield Fire Department was assisted by many other local agencies, the West Bloomfield Police Department, West Bloomfield's Water and Utilities Department, as well as partners through the Oakland Collective Partnership from the Bloomfield Township Fire Department also coming in. Firefighters fought the fire from inside the home initially until conditions worsened, and for their safety, they exited the home and completed the rest of their firefight from outdoors. But they did say the big key here in what saved lives in this fire was those smoke detectors going off early, and the residents in that home listening to those warnings from those devices and getting out of their home. So good news from the West Bloomfield Fire Department as everyone got out of their home safely in this fire early on Sunday morning. Another element of safety that we need to be looking out for, not just in our homes, but now on the roads, as we have a lot of construction going on all throughout town, and drivers are looking to find alternative routes so that they can take a safer route from point A to point Z and not get involved in all that congestion. Dave Scott has more. Dave.
All right, thank you very much, Tyler. And that is exactly what's going on. Drivers are finding their way around the massive construction project on Orchard Lake Road in Kegel Harbor and Sylvan Lake, and that's the good news. Additionally, we recommend that during non-rush hour hours, that it's okay to go through and support the local businesses. More on that in just a minute. We have aerial video here, I believe, of Orchard Lake Road and the construction project during about 8 o'clock at night. And this is video that we shot. And there it is, video that I shot on Thursday or Wednesday night of last week. And you can see the construction project, but I want you to take a really close look at Orchard Lake Road. And it's a little hard to see there, but if you look close, you can see that half of the roadway is closed, and you can see that there really isn't all that much congestion. Now, yes, it's going to be a different deal during the prime drive hours in the morning and the afternoon. But even during those hours, we're getting reports that more and more people now have found alternative routes. They don't want to sit in the construction traffic and have found their way around. So good news, construction project is moving forward. We'll talk to the Road Commission for Oakland County later on in the week and just get an official update from them on how the project is going and how people are doing with the flow. But as you can see, Orchard Lake Road at about 8 o'clock at night, late last week, not doing too bad. Tyler, the residents in the community, though, are very concerned in Keego Harbor and Orchard Lake that in spite of that people aren't cutting through their neighborhoods. So over to you, Tyler.
Yeah, and that is good news. Part of that does have to do particularly in Keego Harbor with the fact that they've put a temporary traffic order in place that does make it an offense to drive through those neighborhoods as a cut around from the Orchard Lake Road traffic. That's for a number of reasons, Dave. It's because the speed limits in the neighborhoods typically are relatively low in comparison to the main roads for the safety of the residents. Those roads tend to be thinner and not really meant to have a whole lot of consistent traffic through them. And it's the middle of the summer also at this point. So we have kids at home, you have families that are playing. Sometimes that ventures into the roadways. And if people aren't following the speed limits because they're trying to make up some time, that can be incredibly dangerous. Luckily, so far, from all of our indications, there hasn't been a whole lot of that going on. And part of that is because people are taking those detours, as you said. They're going around this traffic, especially at those highly congested times. And at those other times that aren't the morning and afternoon rush, it tends to not be as bad congestion wise on these roads, while still being a little bit worse than normal conditions. But definitely is recommended to stay out of those neighborhoods in order to protect the residents there and protect yourself as well from any sort of liability that may come with injury as a result of driving.
Well, and Tyler, that makes it even easier to get to the restaurants that we want to encourage people to visit. So a little bit of a commercial here for the restaurants and some of them. Let's start with the Early Bird Cafe in Keego Harbor. And Ellen's Bakery and Cafe on Orchard Lake Road, west of Middlebelt Road, opens at 8 o'clock, runs till 4, Monday through Saturday, and 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Sunday. The Early Bird Cafe open as well. And Tyler, those are just some of the restaurants. You've got a list of some of the other ones that we just want to make sure people know are open.
Yeah, those are kind of the two on the end point, on either end point of the Orchard Lake Road traffic, with Ellen's Bakery being just off that left-hand turn off of Middlebelt Road as you get onto that one-way street that now is Orchard Lake Road, as you said. But beyond that, you go down the road a little ways, just past Cass Lake Road, you have Mary Donnelly's Public House, a couple of bars. Mary Donnelly's Public House open throughout the week, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday. That is a fan favorite for people in the community, especially those in the neighborhoods walking up to get a drink or to have a nice meal with some friends and some family in the neighborhood. Right up the street from there is Brew House Bar and Grill. That's on Orchard Lake Road, just before the bend that takes you toward Commerce Road as you're heading down Orchard Lake at this point in time. That also is open Monday through Thursday from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., as well as on Sunday during that time period. And then Saturday is also open 3 p.m. until 10 p.m. as well. A little bit up the street from that is Jet's Pizza of Keego Harbor, who posted this image you're seeing now on social media yesterday. They are open during the construction, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday. Sunday, some shorter hours, opening at 12 noon and closing at 10 p.m., Dave.
And Tyler, and if the other alternative, if you don't want to go to Jet's Pizza, pick up your phone. There's the phone number. Give them a call and they will come to you. Probably they might need a little bit of extra time right now, but do please support these businesses and others in Keego Harbor and Sylvan Lake. This is the peak of their season, and to have this road construction project right in front of them is definitely going to impact their business. So everything you can do to support them is a great thing for your neighborhood businesses to make sure that they are sustained. And we urge you to do that. And again, the good news, no spin here. The really good news is that you can get in and out of these restaurants with a little bit of strategic planning, especially if you pick the most appropriate time. So those are open, and we encourage you to get out and support them. So we talk often on this show about the success of our athletes in West Bloomfield and their success beyond West Bloomfield after graduation. Same is true in the music program. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at some of the students that have moved on from the West Bloomfield band program. We'll talk about the new superintendent candidates in Bloomfield Hills, and we are going to take a look at M1 Concourse. I was there last night, and oh my goodness, what an impressive campus they have right here in Pontiac, just north of West Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills. And we'll talk about that this morning on the show. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Dave, Tyler, and Diane, and Jared, and the whole crew right here on the Splash Live, back in a moment.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy. And if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's what white people think. You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dave Scott, Diane Chabon, and our whole team here at Civic Center TV. Plenty of good news in our community and some exciting news for our outgoing high school students heading to colleges all throughout the state of Michigan and around the country this fall out of West Bloomfield High School. Class of 2023 graduates are moving on, including in band and orchestra, particularly in marching band, with a couple of students. The West Bloomfield School District posting over the weekend some exciting news for 3 West Bloomfield High School students. First off, let's go through Alexander Pranis, is a 2023 graduate who plays the saxophone. He's been accepted into Wayne State University's program in jazz studies. That will be the degree that he's going to be pursuing. While at West Bloomfield High School, Alexander played tenor saxophone in different collective orchestras, including the Detroit Civic Jazz Orchestra, the University of Michigan Jazz Ambassadors Program, as well as the Detroit Jazz Workshop and more. Congratulations to Alexander Pranis heading to Wayne State University this fall. Now on to marching band participants. A couple of co-drum majors from the 2022 fall season marching band. Kylie Harmala is headed to, unfortunately in my circles, the University of Michigan marching band, but a great marching band nonetheless. Got to give her credit for that. That's the good stuff there.
Just stop it, Tyler. Come on.
Hey, at least she's going to the right program at Michigan. That band program is fantastic. She'll be going in their clarinet section, joining class of 2022 alum and trombonist Arthur Yang on the University of Michigan marching band. Congratulations to Kylie Harmala. I won't say the line, but I will say congratulations. Lastly, we have Anna Gorsick, who will be heading to Central Michigan University, also in their clarinet section, much like her counterpart Kylie in the West Bloomfield High School marching band in 2022. She was also a co-drum major for the West Bloomfield High School Marching Band. Congratulations to all three of these students heading into higher levels of band at the next level with some excellent band groups we have here in the state of Michigan, at the University of Michigan, Central Michigan University, and Wayne State University. In more local news, some changes happening in the Bloomfield Hills School District. Dave Scott has the story.
All right. Well, Superintendent Pat Watson, who we know very well in West Bloomfield, former principal at West Bloomfield High School, has been the superintendent at Bloomfield Hills, has announced his retirement, and stepping in now, Dr. Randy Lipa. He begins his tenure as the acting superintendent today. Bloomfield Hills School Board will be holding 3 days of candidate interviews Monday through Wednesday. 5 candidates will be interviewed, 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, and 1 on Wednesday. Finalists to be chosen after the week. They will interview one more final time, and one candidate on the 25th and the other on the 26th. School board will announce their choice on August 14th. And Tyler, that really is, for such a critical role, that is a pretty tight time window. So I'm sure the Bloomfield Hills schools are very interested in getting a new superintendent in place in summer, and certainly before the start of the academic school year.
Yeah, that's why they brought in Dr. Randy Lipa. He is acting superintendent until August 1st. That's the beginning of their new school year. Technically, at that point, he'll become the interim superintendent. So as they choose this new superintendent, he'll be playing a critical part in that between the administration, the school board, and the newly named superintendent that will happen in August to make a smooth transition under that timeline. But again, 5 candidates. They're going to be interviewing this week. Next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, will be the final 2 interviews with those final 2 candidates. As this is much like what we've undergone here in West Bloomfield in recent years with the eventual hiring of Dr. Danya Bazzi as the superintendent in West Bloomfield. Many candidates are interviewed. After many do apply for these jobs, they usually will go through a list of several candidates, narrow it down to 2, maybe 3 candidates, do final interviews, give the public some chance to also discuss these candidates with the Board of Education in a public forum, and then ultimately make their decision later on and have that person then begin their job shortly after that or at the beginning of the next school year, Dave.
All right, so we wish them the best of luck in finding the best candidate in Bloomfield Hills, and we will keep you up to date on that. On Monday, is it too early Monday to start talking about really fun things going on this weekend? I vote it's okay. So the Kegel Harbor Block Party is coming up the 21st. I don't have my calendar in front of me. I want to say that's Saturday. Is that right?
That's Friday, Dave. That is Friday afternoon.
Oh, it's Friday. Okay, forgive me. I'm getting a day ahead of myself. But the big Kegel Harbor Block Party is going on this Friday night. Music provided by the Pulse Food Truck, New Delhi, and local artist art sale. A lot of people will be there. It'll be going on right in Kegel Harbor at the gazebo, that area right behind Town Hall, and that open space right out there. A lot of fun. We hope you get there and get together. And, you know, it's so important right now, especially with all the road construction going on in the area, that you get out, enjoy your neighbors, and, you know, enjoy some of what is wonderful about our community. Normally, a pretty quiet time in Kegel Harbor, but it's a little bit busier now with all the construction going on, and that isn't killing our block party. So big block party, the 21st, 5:30 p.m. Friday night, and we'll continue to remind you all week. So yesterday, Tyler, on Sunday night, got out and went over to M1 Concourse. We're going to have a full report there. Oh my gosh, what an unbelievable facility out there. I've got video. We're going to talk to some of the people out there. You know, this was a plot of land on South Boulevard in Pontiac off Woodward that, you know, there just wasn't a whole lot going on with that property. And you could see right now some of the video we shot. That was actually on the track yesterday, running down the track very slow in a golf cart. There's usually a very fast cars ripping along that track. We'll tell you the whole story in a minute. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Good morning. You're watching The Splash Live. I'm Dave Scott. He's Tyler Kieft. Back in a moment.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Watch Civic Center TV with our brand new live captions. To turn on live captions, go to civiccentertv.com and click Watch Live. In your web browser, click on the Options tab in the top right and find the Accessibilities tab. Then just switch on live captions to heighten your enjoyment of our local programming. Thank you so much for watching Civic Center TV.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look.
And now, back to the Splash, live.
Good morning and welcome back to the Splash Live. Dave Scott here in West Bloomfield in our Splash Live studios. Right down the road, the M1 Concourse. We've got video. I was there last night. What an amazing project. In this area where we are all about autos, you get the Woodward Dream Cruise that, just doesn't go on the 18th of August. Seems like it happens every night. We're car crazed. And they have built this facility. You probably know about it. I'm always the last one to the party, called the M1 Concourse. It's a racetrack with these amazing garages that look like they are, many of them, executive suites down at one of our concert venues. And then they've added a big venue themselves for events and gatherings. And last night it was all the site of the Stars and Cars event. And I'm telling you, when I went out to the event, there was a traffic jam just trying to get in. And it was so much fun because car enthusiasts were able, as you can see in these videos, to take their cars, line them up right along the track. So you got the track going around. There's a big infield in the middle that we're going to see some video here. And you can kind of see the scene here in a little bit more comfortable environment, not jammed with other commercial activity. It's like the Dream Cruise. So there's people sitting out there. They're able to bring their classic car out. They're able to walk around and have a really good time. So I'm on the golf cart here. We're coming right now into this infield area. So just like any track, there's going to be an area in the center, and they are able to use that at M1 Concourse for amazing events. And that was the case last night with the Stars and Cars event. You can see the concert stage there from Oakland County was all set up. They had some incredible bands. The music was absolutely fantastic. And then we had a wide variety of cars, some of the really, top cars right out there in the track, and then others in the infield. The facility is amazing, and you're going to get a little glimpse now of this building that they have here, and it's in their pit row, if you will, but this amazing building that they have here that's got huge rooms in it, a big meeting room for corporate meetings and events. They say they're doing weddings and bar mitzvahs and all kinds of things in there. So great facility. And the national media is catching on because there's an awful lot of activity going on. So other than just all this really cool stuff that's going on, you got the cars, you got that amazing building, you've got events like this event last night, Stars and Cars event, but you also have some really incredible automotive development going on that track. And let me show you a video right now. This is a video about the Ford GT1, and this is an automotive project that's going on site. Let's roll that video, the Ford GT1 project.
Well, behind me is my 2020 Ford GT. It's a Grabber Blue, which is a paint to sample, which is a one of one so far. Picked it up during COVID at M1 last year. Well, what's amazing about this car is that Ford had to pick people that they felt would be ambassadors to actually own this car. And it was such a privilege and an honor to be selected as an owner for the new GT. personally, for me, the American Speed Festival is very exciting because I'm going to be releasing a project that I've been working on for over 2 years with 3 or 4 engineers. We're going to be releasing it. It's a Ford GT. It's a carbon fiber body. Back in 2010, a company called Maytech Composites from Geneva, Switzerland, homologated a Ford race car that raced at Le Mans in 2011. We were fortunate enough to acquire the body, and I was also very fortunate to acquire 30 actual 05, 06 Ford GT chassis from Ford Performance, the last 30 chassis. So having those 2 components and then putting in a sequential gearbox, paddle shifters, and also a Ford modular engine is going to build quite a race car. I'm a member of the Motorsports Club at M1, so I've got a big community of people that we hang out together and use this beautiful track. And at the same time, in building this car, I'm going to be testing it here. Some of the drivers are going to be developing the car here. So it's a kind of a local, homegrown situation that we put together. Super excited to also be able to reveal it at this event. I'm really looking forward to seeing the world convene to M1 to see what's going on here. The opportunity to see these fabulous cars that are going to be running on this track, having a chance to get together, kind of like what's happening at Goodwood without having to travel to England. I'm looking forward to see how this event develops in the future. I think there's a lot of potential, and it's going to be very exciting to see.
That was a promotional video for an event that happened in 2001. It just tells the story so well. I happened yesterday to run into that guy, Fred Calero, and he's got some of those cars in one of these garages, the hundreds of garages that surround the M1 track. And, you know, some of those garages, they're like executive suites. They're party locations, or somebody's got a car. And then in some of them, there's really amazing work like Fred is doing on that Ford GT. I asked Fred what kind of opportunity being at this M1 Concourse afforded him.
So if you watch the movie Ford versus Ferrari, everybody was a big fan of that movie, and you'll notice that they were at an airport. Okay, so if you're developing a car, you're always finding things to fix or things to break so you can fix it. And that's part of the development process, whether it's aero, brakes, oiling system, fuel system, tuning, whatever it is. You have to have a place to try it out. Doing it on a dyno can only take you so far. Actually taking it on a track, getting the car to temp, and seeing how the car behaves and what goes wrong so you can fix it. So M1 gets us started. Because it's a small track, it's only 1.5 miles, we still have to go to bigger tracks with more harsh environment, warmer environments, with areas where you can go wide open throttle for a longer time. And that way you can really push the car to the limit. So this gets us going to get a base tune, and then we take it from here. So this has been a terrific place to do that.
All right, Fred Calero there. I had a great conversation with him last night. Tyler saw his cars. And, you know, I know it's been there for a while, but there's an awful lot of people, maybe some of the people watching today that aren't familiar, haven't been down there. And this is really a convergence of a bunch of different things. It's car lovers, and there's so many of them around Metro Detroit, especially guys with cars that go fast, that really, you know, can't tear it up on Woodward. So they kind of end up tearing it up on Woodward. This gives the people that are at the top of that game an opportunity to have a garage on a track and get trained on that track. The M1 Concourse has some cars in a training program, so they'll show you how you can operate your vehicle safely on this track, and it's really an amazing track. I got a chance to walk on it. But in addition to that, then they have these events like they had last night, and that was the Stars and Cars event, where you can bring your own car in there for the day, hang out, walk around like I did. There's food trucks, there's music. This is a big area. They have a big event building, and last night, and I was kind of a wimp and went home early. Otherwise, I would have video. They had an amazing fireworks show last night. So it's a venue. It's an auto It's a place for auto people to get together and gather in a safe area. This isn't the only one of these complexes around the country, but we do it a little bit bigger and better here in the Motor City, the home of the automobile. And Tyler, what a great use of a piece of property and an amazing development in Pontiac.
And it's been a huge part of the city of Pontiac's aim to revitalize the city, to bring some new energy into the city and bring Pontiac back from some struggles of recent years. It was part of the big plans from previous mayor Deirdre Waterman and the current mayor Tim Grimel, and is a big part of getting people into Pontiac, but also tapping into that love of cars and car culture that we have here in Detroit and in the metro area.
Well, it's an amazing facility. Of course, it's going to be rocking and rolling on the 18th of August. That's Dream Cruise Day, but a lot of other events. There's a drive-in movie night that's coming up on the 29th of July. And if you go to their website, event after event after event, and you can hold your event as well. Now, with all that said, it was even a more special night, Tyler, because I ran into a really good friend of The Splash, one of our former hosts of this program. We'll reveal that surprise in that video when we return right after this. You're watching The Splash Live. Good morning. I'm Dave Scott, and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Like what you see? Beautiful works of art, masterworks of metal, and accomplishments of artistry will be on display near you. All kinds of artists from all walks of life come together to celebrate their skill and appreciate their work's beauty. Hot Works presents the 2023 Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. Stop by July 29th and 30th between 2 and 10 p.m. between Powers and Daly off of Orchard Lake Road.
Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Hey everybody, Dave Scott from The Splash here at the M1 Concourse. What is this event called? It's like fireworks night or something.
Stars and cars.
Stars and thank you, Brooke. You know, that she knows what it's called because you know who this is. Look who I ran into, Brooke Allen, former host of The Splash.
Oh my gosh, it was so good to see you. I yelled for Dave. I'm like, Dave Scott, I haven't seen you in years.
WWJ's Brooke Allen. Who are these guys?
My name's Stacy Bowman. My name's Carson Bowman.
All right, you guys. So, Brooke, our Splash audience, we hear you on the radio. What's going on?
You know, not much. We're just hanging out, and you know, it was a beautiful night to come out here. So we decided to see all the fancy cars. We love bright, shiny things. so here we are. So that's where we are. But no, you know, just doing the deal on WWJ, and we'll see what adventure comes up.
This is an amazing facility. I mean, this grew out of nothing and like a weed. It was like it wasn't here, and then boom, it's here.
Yeah, it's
and
amazing.
Then it's growing.
Right.
I mean, they've got this huge building, all the garages, the track, and this could only happen in Auto Town, huh?
Right, for sure. Yeah, no, it's. Have you walked the whole track
Not yet.
Okay, so this is your first time being here. I've been at one of the private garages. It's pretty amazing, right? So,
of course, I've been at one of the private
garages because that's how I am. But you know, it's a really cool place. You know, and people love it. I mean, cars were stacked up, right, trying to get in because it's such a hot ticket right now. So, and of course the Dream Cruise is, you know, there's a lot of stuff coming.
Right. There's a ton of things going on here, and this is an amazing resource for our community with all of the auto activity we have here. And then the auto media from all over the world has found out about this.
Yeah.
They're here shooting movies and documentaries and doing what we all like to do, come and look at the cars.
I know, right? We'd love to look at the cars, right?
Yeah.
So we've been walking the track. When we ran into you, we were just circling, and it's amazing to see you.
All right. Well, great to see you. Good to meet the clan.
Yes,
and I got more coming up from here. We'll watch fireworks a little later on and a whole lot more. Dave Scott for the Splash Live.
Oh, and Brooke Allen. Hey.
Oh, excuse me.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important.
And now the same is true in the face of flu.
Influenza has the power to infect millions.
But it's easy to protect yourself, your family, and your community.
The flu vaccine is safe and effective. And with COVID-19 still around,
it's essential. Together we can face flu season head on.
Visit michigan.gov/flu.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily TV and radio show. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dave Scott as we continue on with all the latest and greatest news and events happening all throughout the Greater West Bloomfield community. One of the favorites of the summer season here in the Greater West Bloomfield is the Marchbank Music Series. It kicked off earlier this summer already and continues on Wednesday night with the Insiders, a Tom Petty tribute band, as the headliner on Wednesday's Marchbank Music Concert. The whole event, 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. with music beginning at 6 o'clock at Marchbank Park off of Hiller Road. Joining us now on the program is Max Lockwood, guitarist and vocalist with the Insiders, a Tom Petty tribute band who will be performing at this week's Marchbank Music Concert. Max, thanks for being with us today.
Yes, thanks for having me, Tyler.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about your group because the Insiders has a pretty interesting backstory. It dates back to just after the death of the late Tom Petty and then ultimately developed into something that wasn't really planned as being a band at first. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I came up playing music in my own project and in bands throughout my 20s and covered Tom Petty a lot, and people often told me I sounded like him or even looked like him. And so when he passed away tragically much too soon, a group of us decided to get together and do a little bit of a recording project to honor his music. And then I decided, let's do a show. We should just do one show. I got a bunch of friends together, and we did a sold-out show at the Pyramid Scheme in Grand Rapids, and it was a benefit for a local domestic violence and women's shelter, and we raised about $5,000 for that. And the band came together in just this really amazing, organic way, and it felt so good to play that music and honor the legacy of one of the greatest American rock and roll bands and singer-songwriters of all time, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And so we decided to do a couple more shows and then a couple more shows after that. And it just kind of kept going from there. And we really love it. It's a great opportunity to share music and, lift spirits and bring Tom Petty's music to people who can't enjoy the band live anymore. And people really enjoy it, and we really enjoy doing it. We love the music. And, many of us are songwriters and have played in original bands throughout our careers and are professional musicians, and never really set out to start a tribute band, but have really found a lot of enjoyment in doing it.
And what's great about Tom Petty's music is it's rock music, but it's rock music of a variety of different tastes. And so for you and for your band, Max, what about Tom Petty's music makes it such a favorite of yours?
It's a great question. Tom Petty was a great songwriter. He was a great lyricist. I'm a songwriter myself, and I really think he was a true poet. And so he really cared about crafting a song, and the way they created music in the studio and at their live shows was just so intentional and brought together so many deep influences from the history of rock and roll that it's just a really rich kind of music and just very original. It's got that Southern thing going on. It's got, kind of the true heart of rock and roll. And, they were just a great band. They wrote great songs, and they're sort of like songs that have become, they've really gotten woven into the fabric of what it means to be an American. And they're almost like modern folk music to me. I mean, there's so many songs that everybody knows and loves and can sing along to. So it's just a great experience for people of all ages.
Hey, Max, good to have you with us. Dave Scott here. Thank you for joining us. I was talking to Gary Graff. Certainly, I don't know if you know Gary or not. He is a local Michigan-based writer. He used to write for the Free Press. Just wrote the book on Alice Cooper. Yeah, you probably know Gary. And he was talking the other day about tribute bands and how popular they are right now. Can you talk about that a little bit? What's your experience, and why do you think that, especially now, that tribute bands have become so big?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. And, you know, it's not a world I, quite frankly, ever paid attention to very, very acutely before we started this band. Like I said, sort of almost on accident. And so I kind of view it from a little bit of a different perspective, I think. And I can appreciate it a lot more than maybe I once would have. And it's a conversation I was just having with someone else. I really think, you know, there's so much music out there nowadays, and it's so easy to make music. And so there's a proliferation of music that's out there, but it's not exactly easy to find if you don't know where to look on the internet. You know, popular mainstream music is something that I think a lot of people who grew up on the music of like the 70s and 80s and, you know, rock and roll with guitars and voices and, you know, imperfections. There's a lot in today's music, at least that's what's on the radio, that I think people just don't have an entry point into and can't relate to really well. And so there's so much content out there all over on the internet everywhere now, that I think it's almost like comforting and nostalgic to go back to this music that's kind of from a simpler time and maybe feels a little more like human and like easy to relate to and access. And so I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the world, in the digital age, there's something just nice about, you know, classic rock and roll that's just like from the heart and pure and live and has that energy to it.
Well, you know, one of the other things, Max, and we've only got a couple of minutes left. One of the other things is there are an awful lot of fans that like the music that I grew up with that are in their 20s or even younger that just didn't have a chance to see these artists. So seeing a tribute band, especially one that's good like you, that represents the original product with such honesty, is a really great thing. And I think people love that. Okay. Favorite Tom Petty song. I got mine. I think my favorite driving down I-75, running up north with the windows down song always was Born to Be Wild. But I had to retire that when Running Down the Dream came out, because that song and that guitar riff right at the beginning, oh my gosh, you just got to turn your radio up loud. My favorite Tom Petty song. Do you like that one? And are you going to perform that at Marshbank on Wednesday?
You know, a magician doesn't reveal his secrets, so I'm not going to answer that question. But we do perform that one quite regularly. Of course, amazing song, and maybe one of the best driving songs ever written.
Absolutely.
You know, I've really been enjoying the kind of Wildflowers and mid-90s She's the One era of Tom Petty. I think there's like a real sweetness that came through in his writing at that time. We've been playing the song Walls a lot, which I really love. You know, Crawling Back to You is another great one. You know, it's hard to pick a favorite, man. There's so many great songs and there's such a wide range.
All right, we got to let Tyler in on this. Tyler, favorite Tom Petty song?
Max already let the cat out of the bag on that one. Wildflowers is probably my favorite one. I'm a little more of a sentimental, heart on the sleeve kind of guy, and so that I really love the writing on that song. Musically, it's excellent. The acoustic guitar, the finger picking, really plays in to my enjoyment of that song. So I would go Wildflowers, Dave.
Cool.
All right. Well, very good. Well, Max, thanks for being with us. We appreciate you being on the show. Next time you got to bring your guitar and maybe we'll set you up. I don't know if you could do that. I mean, you know, this isn't the Ed Sullivan Show, really dated reference there, but you never know. Maybe we can get you on it. And I know the people in West Bloomfield will be thrilled to have you at Marshbank. It's kind of like a mini micro Pine Knob And you're really going to enjoy it if you've not been there before. Great crowd, friendly people, wonderful environment, and we're really delighted you're coming to West Bloomfield.
Can't wait. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
All right, Max Lockwood joining us here on the Splash Live. Tyler, it's a great series, and you know it's kind of like going out and seeing Tom Petty. Are you kidding me? That's going to be a great Wednesday night.
Yeah, I wish I could get out to that concert on Wednesday night. I got other things going on, some other constraints that are keeping me from that. But I looking at that calendar, that was the first one I marked off as, all right, let's see how the schedule aligns that week, because that might be one to attend. But for the rest of the greater West Bloomfield community, definitely get out to Marshbank Music. The concert begins at 6 o'clock, but all the fun begins at 5:30 and runs until 8:30.
So construction obviously has been big news here in the greater West Bloomfield area. Road construction up at Orchard Lake of their new safety complex there with the new police department building and the new municipal services building they have. And here is a picture that I shot over the weekend of the construction going on at the West Bloomfield Police Department. And we took you through the police department, some of the back hallways and whatnot before the construction. And now you can see that it's really impacting the building from the outside. They're moving along from all reports. We'll check in with the West Bloomfield Police, but they really, I mean, it's a good looking building. And from the outside, you think, well, why does that need to get updated? From being inside, times have changed. They're male officers, they're female officers, there's other technology. They just didn't have the facilities organized in a way that was effective. And as you can see, big doings with the construction project. And there's certainly at least a lot of activity going on at the West Bloomfield Police Department, Tyler.
Yeah, there is. And some of the vehicles have been moved around out of their parking lot, and some help and assistance from their friends across the street at West Bloomfield Parks using some of their parking area. And parts of that facility still blocked off at this time as the construction continues, but still a clear path for you to get into the police department building if you need to go there for business or to file a police report or anything else that you need. And as you said, Dave, these systems are going to update this police department, update their facilities, what they're capable of doing out of that headquarters in the West Bloomfield Town Hall complex, and make it a more welcoming and modernized environment for their officers of all different kinds.
All right, Jared, I don't know if you can bring Diane back into the shot here, if she's still available, but if she is, if you would bring her back in. Tyler, we have to get on with the program here. But interesting show today. A lot of really interesting things going on in our community, from amazing activity at the M1 Concourse to, thank goodness, a good story resulting after a home was engulfed in a terrible fire, and no loss of life. And that's always really good news.
Yeah, it is. And it's another reminder that the safety in your home is really critical, especially this time of the year with the dryness we've experienced this season, with the air quality issues we've had. Keeping those smoke detectors up to date in the summer and in the fall and winter, just periodically, and taking all into account all those other suggested checks all throughout the year to keep your home safe. And of course, those smoke detectors, when you hear them go off, treat everything like it's the real thing, not just a drill.
All right, so do be careful. Diane, Shaban. Diane, thank you very much for popping in with us here this morning. There you are. So, we'll continue to get out of the way and get you more involved in the broadcast. But welcome, in addition to being our social media maven, thank you very much for beginning to explore the on-camera part of this whole operation. And good to have you on the broadcast team as well.
Thank you for having me, Dave. And I hope people will see a lot more of me.
Well, we are definitely looking forward to you as a very positive addition to the crew. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Of course, the show is on 89.3 Lakes FM, repeats several times throughout the day, repeats on Civic Center TV on cable television. You can also watch us, especially after Diane gets to work, on civiccentertv.com and all of the social media outlets. Facebook, you'll find us there. You'll find us on YouTube. You'll find us on all the other outlets. Wherever you watch, Thank you for watching the Splash Live.